Hey guys, it's Jenny here, and today I have a huge May wrap-up for you guys. It's a doozy. It's actually my biggest of the year so far. So, this month in May, I read a whopping total of 13 books this month. Yeah, I know, that's a lot, because in January, February, March, I read 6 books. In April, I read 12, and this month I read 13. Bless my dedicated soul. So, now, I am going to go over the books that I read, the rating, and the page count, and then I will also probably give you a brief synopsis, if I can. A lot of this was, me kind of finishing up some sequels month, so that's why I didn't really have that many buddy reads. I was just finishing up a lot of series that I started in April, and overall I had a really good reading month. I didn't rate anything below a 4-star, so needless to say, I literally loved everything that I read. It was such a great reading month, and I hope that June is just as great, because that'd be even more thrilling. So, and on the off chance that you probably don't want to hear me rambling just about stuff, you probably want to hear me rambling about books, let's just get into this. I'm wearing my glasses because I have a headache right now, and my eyes hurt, so I'm like, gotta be spectacled today. Anywho, so the first book that I read in the month of May was The Battle of the Labyrinth by Rick Riordan. This is book 4 in the Percy Jackson the Olympian series. I can't go too much into depth about this, but basically the series is about demigods, Greek mythology, and epic adventures, and it's just such a good series. I love this so much. This was like my 3rd or 4th time rereading this. And so yeah, this was 361 pages, and I gave this a 5 stars, obviously. I should probably actually go over this first. So my stats for the month, I ended up having, shoot, I didn't tally it up. We'll tally it at the end. Okay, so the next book that I read in the month of May was A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. This was my 2nd time reading this book. I love this book so much. I actually loved this reread more than the first time I read it. The ending destroyed me. Once again, I can't go too into depth about this because this is the 3rd book in the Aquatar series. Technically, it's the finale because the next book is a novella, and then the books after that will be a spin-off series. But this is my baby. This book is 699 pages, 700 if you want to round it up. And I, of course, gave this 5 stars, even though it ripped my heart out multiple times. I'm gonna be glad about it. This is a really heavy book. It's like, whew, it's a hefty one. But I love this book so much. If you guys have not read the Aquatar series yet and you've been watching my channel for some time now, what are you doing? I always shove this book down everybody's throats, this series down everybody's throats, and it's okay. I mean, I love it so much. It just deserves to be read. It deserves to be read. So yeah, this was 700 pages and 5 stars, of course. Okay, so the next book was another reread for me, and I'm pretty sure this was about the 3rd time I've read it, and that is Unravel Me by Tahira Mafi. This is book 2 in the Shatter Me series. I really like this one again. This was a reread for me. 2nd or 3rd time reading this. And this was probably my favorite time I read it. It was just like, I was so much more into the story. Well, I guess I can say that because like I was really into the story when I first started it. But like, I guess I just paid a lot more attention to detail. And I don't know. It was just such a good read. Like I was able to visualize everything so much more vividly. And I was able to like pick up character like depictions, and like, I don't know, I just got a feel for everything so much better, and it was like I could pick out the character development so well, and I just loved it. But oh, if any of you don't know what Aquatar is about, it's about Fae. It's about this huntress. It's kind of like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's fantabulous. Anywho, this is about this girl named Juliet who has this touch that can kill people, and this government wants to use her as a weapon, and she gets stuck in this love relationship where this guy can touch her, and yeah, He's the only guy that can, sorry, that was a spoiler. Whoops. Whoops. Please hold, please don't hurt me. Anywho, he's the only guy that can touch her, and yeah, it's like this dystopian romance about this girl who has powers that can kill people, and it's super action-packed. I love this series so much. This is in one of my top 5 favorite series, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Anywho, Unravel Me was 461 pages and 5 stars. The next book that I read in the month of May was My Baby, A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. This is book 3.5 in the ACOTAR series. See what I did there? Because it's not a full book, it's a novella, people. I will always be so salty about the people that keep calling this a book. Like, yeah, I know the word count surpasses a novella, and it's like the word count of a novel, but if my baby Sarah wants to write a really long novella, and it's a novella, people, it's like, okay, this is how you know. Look at the size of A Court of Winds and Ruin, and then look at the size of little tiny baby ACOFAS. It's teeny. It's teeny. This is a novella that takes place after ACO War, and you just get to see all of the characters in the inner circle interacting around solstice time, and it warmed my cold dead heart because I love these guys so much. You got to see everybody scrambling to like pick out Christmas gifts, and you got to see like inside Feyre's like issues and like her painting and like how painting helps people like cope with stuff, and like, oh my god, you get to see relationship developments, and we get to hate on Nesta, and it's, this is everything I wanted. This is like the best fanfic because the author wrote it, so it's a fanfic that actually happens in the series, and I love it so much. Like, I love this book because I don't have to stress out about anything. It's just all cutesy fun stuff that I really needed after the intenseness of ACO War. This was 329 pages, and I give this 10 out of 5 stars. I'm kidding, it gets just all the stars possible. So yeah, there's that. Then the next book I read in May was Ignite Me by Tahira Mafi. This is book 3 in the Shatter Me series. By far my favorite. I love this book so much. This one's my favorite just for so many reasons. Because I love Aaron, and I love Kenji, and I love Juliet and her relationships with these people and with her friends. It's just, she is such a queen in this book, and she's come so far as a person that it just warms my heart, and hands down, just the character development alone in this book makes it worth like all the stars. And I mean, the plot was good too, you know, the plot was good, but the characters are where it's at. I just love this book. It had me crying at parts, it had me laughing at parts, it had me, oh my god, at parts. And then it had me like, wow, at parts. Because this book is, it's amazing. If you haven't picked up Shatter Me, what are you doing? This book is, I love it. This was 408 pages, and this gets all of the stars. This belongs on my favorite shelf. I love this book so much. The next book that I read in May was Siege and Storm by Lee Bardugo. This is book 2 in the Grisha series. Basically, the Grisha series is about this girl named Elena who works as a soldier in the first army. I think it's the first army, might be second. Pretty sure it's first though. One of the armies. I think. I hope. Where's my Grisha book? It's all the way up there. I'm not reaching up there. But anyway, she's a soldier, and they have to make this trek against the fold. I will grab said picture of the fold. So that is the fold. They call it the Unsea. So basically, this fold is full of disgusting monsters that feed off the darkness, and they're called the Volcra, and they're very evil, and they're really disgusting, and nobody has get across. So it's basically like a suicide mission. Anyways, her regiment gets attacked by the Volcra, and then she releases this power that she didn't even know she had, and then she becomes this, like, praised sun summoner, and this magic she gets released, and, like, she becomes the Darkling, who is a ruler in the Grishaverse. She becomes, like, his not apprentice, I don't know what you call it, trainee, I don't know, but the Darkling takes her under his wing, and just stuff goes down, and she's like, and everybody has her convinced that she can save the future of Ravka by destroying the Shadowfold. And this is the sequel to that book. Honestly, this one, I went into this with really low expectations because everybody was telling me it was a lot more dull than the other two books, which is completely true. This is the dullest one. This is my least favorite of the series, but it's still good. Like, I was genuinely surprised by it. But go in with low expectations, because if you go in with low expectations, then it's a lot better than you think. If you go in with really high expectations, you'll probably be disappointed, because the beginning of this is super intense, and I really loved it. The middle is really boring and angsty, and I'm like, it's basically just like fluffy filler information, and then the end is like, whoa, in your face, because it's like, starts, and then it's like over in like 25 pages. Anywho, I still really enjoyed this book. I, like, seriously did. And, it was 432 pages, and I still gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars because, hey, I still really liked it. Like, I didn't have any issues with it other than that it was a little bit slow in the middle. So, yeah. The next book that I read in May was Restore Me by Tahira Mafi. This is book 4 in the Shatter Me trilogy that we didn't know existed. Ignite Me was supposed to be the last book, and everyone was like, oh, I'm sad, I want more. And then she published one, and we're like, say what? Yeah, so now we got Restore Me, and I finally read it. If any of you watched my vlog where I finished this, y'all probably saw my overreaction. I read the ending, and I'm still speechless about it. So, okay. So, let me just start off saying I gave this book 4 stars, and it was 435 pages. I gave this 4 stars because nothing happened, like, throughout the whole book. She was in the same place, just complaining about her job, and complaining about everything, and, like, being super naive, and I'm like, oh my god, Juliet, baby, I know you can do better than this. And anyways, it was, like, nothing good was happening. I mean, there were a few parts where I'm like, whoa, boom, that was super awesome. And there were a couple really cute parts, but most of the time I'm like, wow, this is so angsty. Can we please stop? I mean, there were super cute parts with her and Kenji too, and I'm like, oh, I love you too. But most of the time I'm like, oh my god, can we like, get to the story, please? But then, there was a plot twist. A big plot twist, okay? Towards the end, kind of middle ending, kind of there. That's my cat. Middle ending, there was a huge plot twist, and then the ending was like, boom. Drop the freaking bomb. I'm like, I want to cry just thinking about the ending. Whoops. So much happened. I can't even believe. Like, I really don't know where she's gonna go with the 5th book, but I kind of have a feeling I know. I don't know, it just had me so shook, I couldn't even handle it. I'm like, wowza. Slow down there, girlfriend. Wow, that is too much for me to process, but the beginning was slow, but the ending packed a freaking punch and gave us some serious things to think about. So yeah, I read that. The next book that I read in the month of May was Airfire by Sarah J. Maas. Because who wouldn't want to read 3 Sarah J. Maas books in 1 month? So Airfire is book 3 in the Throne of Glass series, which is up there on my Sarah J. Maas shrine. Anywho, this is book 3, and basically book 1 is about this assassin named Selena Sardathian, and she is Aderlin's greatest assassin. She lives in the world of Aurelia, and yeah, she's just like the greatest assassin in all of Aderland. Anyway, she's in these salt mines, basically a slave labor camp, and then the Crown Prince of Aderlin breaks her out and chooses her to be his champion for the King's Champion competition, to be the King's personal assassin. So, to win this competition, she has to defeat 23 thieves, liars, murderers, and assassins to win the crown. The King's Champion crown. And then after 3 years of servitude, she gets her freedom. So she agrees to be in this competition, and she's fighting, you know, to earn her freedom under a surname, yada yada yada. And then her competitors start dying one by one, so it's not only a fight for her freedom, but also her survival, because it's targeting the King's Champion competitors, and shit goes down. Shit goes down, guys. It goes down. And overall, it's such a great series. Crown of Midnight is still my favorite. I really liked this one too, but I will admit that it took me about 200 pages to fully get really into it. I ended up giving this 4.5 stars just because of the slow beginning, and like the terms were really confusing to me in the middle towards the end. I'm like, wow, I can't keep shit straight. Wow, this is giving me a headache. But overall, I really did love this book, and I can't wait to see where Queen of Shadows is going. I'm actually supposed to be starting it tonight. Yeah, whoops, it's like 10 o'clock, and I still haven't done my scheduled reading. Go me. But anywho, I really love this book, and I highly recommend anybody who likes kick-ass feminine characters, because Selena is definitely one. So yeah, 562 pages, 4.5 stars. The next book I read in May was Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. This is book 3 in the Grisha trilogy, and oh my god, I loved this book so much. Wow. Okay, so if you guys watched my vlog for this, I cried so hard at the end. It started like 30 pages before the end, and like the tears just started rolling, and they didn't stop until the very end. Like, I mean, things got better, but they were still rolling, and I was just like, good job. I was just a freaking mess with this book. It was in a good way though, in the best way, because this was such a good book. It was so action-packed, and like there were the plot twist. The plot twist, guys. Just the plot twist alone. There were so many of them, like stuff I didn't even see coming. I'm like, in the ending itself, like, I love how it was an ending that nobody really wanted, but it was a good ending, if you know what I mean. Like, there were some things that were a little controversial, but this was such a good read. I loved it so much. This easily became my favorite in the series, like 150 pages in. I'm like, yep, my favorite now. I was like, yes. So anyways, this one was 417 pages, and I gave this 5 stars because I adored it. Next, I was reading a text. I read Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Sienna Maguire. This is book 2 in the Wayward Children series, and I really loved the first book. I was genuinely surprised. The second book, it took me a while to get into it. It took me like 50 or 60 pages to get into it, and these are fairly short books. But once I get into it, I'm like, wow, I do like this book a lot. So, since these can kind of act as standalones, I can give you guys a synopsis on this. So basically the first book is about these children who all of them go through different worlds, like fantasy worlds, kind of like Narnia. Like, for example, Nancy, the main character in the first book, comes from the world of the Halls of the Dead, where she is like a statue in the, what's his name? Death Lord or something? Lord of Death? In his garden. It's like kind of like Hades and Persephone. And anyways, she gets kicked out of that world. She finds a door like in a random place, like a shoebox or something. She goes in, lives in this world, then she gets kicked out, and all the children that get kicked out of their fantasy worlds go to Miss Eleanor's house for wayward children or something like that. And yeah, this is like a home for the children who have gotten kicked out of these worlds and are treated as crazy because they're trying to tell people about what really happened. And so this book centers on Jack and Jill. Jacqueline and Jillian. And so one of them becomes an apprentice to a mad scientist, and the other becomes a vampire's daughter. And this kind of centers on their world in the moors and like why they got kicked out and got sent to Miss Eleanor's, and it's just so good. I really did like this. Like at the beginning I'm like, okay, this is slow, this is boring, can we please get to the point? But at the end I'm like, wow, this makes so much sense now, oh my god. So this was 187 pages and I gave this 4 stars just because of the slowness, and I feel like it could have been a little bit longer at the end, but it wasn't. Okay, this video is super long. The next book I read is The Last Olympian by Rick Riordan. This is book 5 in the Percy Jackson The Olympian series. This was like the 3rd time for me rereading this, and I loved it so much. I'm gonna be honest, I was crying a whole lot because it just messes with my emotions, okay? Okay. Yeah. So, 5 stars. 5 stars. This was 381 pages. I just adore this series so much. You guys, I will never understand why people don't read Percy Jackson because it's so good. So good. I don't really think you can go wrong with Percy Jackson, to be honest. So the next book that I actually just finished yesterday was The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan. This is book 1 in the spin-off series, which is called The Heroes of Olympus. Basically, this includes Percy and his friends, but then they also introduce a couple new characters. It's so good. So this centers on Jason, Piper, and Leo, who are on their bus to the way to the wilderness school, except, oh, now you know what the last book is, except for that Jason has amnesia and can't remember who he is, and yeah, it's very good. They go on these adventures and like to save Hera and yada yada yada. It's super good. I recommend it highly. Easily 5 stars. This was 553 pages. So good. Then finally the book that I'm actually not even finished with yet. I have 45 pages left, but we're gonna count it anyway, is Beneath the Sugar Sky by Sienna McGuire. This is book 3 in the Wayward Children series. Whew. Not to be like spoiler alerty, but I'll just be very vague. Somebody's daughter comes from the land of confection to find her mother who had died in book 1. And basically she comes to Eleanor West's house to reclaim her mother's life, to go through these realms to bring her mother back to life so she does not fade from existence, because that would suck. And yeah, so we get all of our characters back from book 1. We get Cade and we get Nancy, and I'm like, yes! And it's so fun because we also get some new characters. We get to see Christopher, and I actually haven't finished it yet, so I don't know what the ending is like, but so far I'm loving it. Rinny is just hilarious. She cracks me up. So as it stands right now, I'm probably going to give this book like a 4.5 out of 5 stars because that's kind of where I want to put it, but then at the same time, I'm like, I really do like it so far. But there are some parts that just kind of drag on. You know, I'm just going to go and give it a 5 stars because I really am enjoying it. Like, probably a lot more than I was enjoying Down Among the Sticks and Bones, because some of my favorite characters came back, and I just feel like it was a lot more well done and like a lot more easy to understand, but I really do like it. So this was 174 pages and 5 stars. So we're ending this month with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 5-star reads. 2 4-star reads. And 2 4.5-star reads. 4, 9. Yep, that's about right. So yeah, I had an overall fantabulous reading month. Nothing under 4 stars. That is phenomenal. So yeah, this was the last book I'm reading for May. Still have to finish it. I only have 45 pages left though, so I'm finishing it like right after I'm done filming this. So yeah, that was my May wrap-up of 13 whole books. I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, so yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And of course, let me know down in the comments if you have any video suggestions or requests on what you'd like to see more of. And also just let me know what you read in the month of May, or if you've read any of these books and enjoyed them as much as I did. Once again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed.